Iamblichus, on the Mysteries of Egypt. Translated by Alexander Wilder, 1911. Read by Dan Attrell. Chapter 18. Eudaemonia, or True Success. The last subject remaining for discussion is in relation to true success, eudaemonia. Thou hast put intricate problems with regard to it, namely, first, observations upon certain subjects, next, matters of doubt, and after these, questioning. We will accordingly place thy questions in their order, each and every one of them, and will answer these in due course in reference to them. Thou askest whether there is not some other path to true success apart from the gods. What different way upward can there be, entirely apart from the gods, that is reasonable? For if essence and perfection of every good are comprised in the gods, and their primary power and authority are with us priests, and with those who are in like manner possessed by the superior divinities, and have come genuinely into union with them, and in short, if the source and the end of goodness are earnestly pursued, in such case, there are present accordingly the spectacle of truth and the initiation into spiritual knowledge. And with the knowing of the gods, the turning around to ourselves and the knowing of ourselves follow together. To no purpose, therefore, thou proposest the doubt whether it is necessary to pay any regard to human opinions. For what leisure has the person whose mind and thought are with the gods to look down for approval from human beings? Nor in what follows dost thou speak to the purpose whether the soul does not now and then form grand conceptions. For what principle of fanciful creations has a place in those who have real being? Is not the faculty of imagination in us the former of eidola? But when the spiritual life is perfectly active, there is nothing of the imagination awakened. Does not the truth in its essence coexist with the gods? At least, is it not established with rational principles harmoniously? It is in vain, then, that thou and others whisper such things. Nevertheless, these things about which certain mountebank priests and fortune-tellers calumniate those who minister at the worship of the gods, and thou hast spoken in the same way, are none of them at all connected with genuine theology and theurgy? Yet if, in some way, certain things of such a character shoot out as excrescences beside the knowledges of things that are good, as evil arts sprout up with other arts, these various knowledges are actually more opposed by them than anything else, for that which is evil is more hostile to the good than to that which is not good. I desire after this to go curiously over other remarks which misrepresent the divine foreknowledge. Thou comparest with it other methods for obtaining premonitions of what will take place. For to me, although a certain aptitude of nature aids in the signifying of what is to occur, just as the foreknowing of earthquakes or of winds or of storms happens to animals, it does not seem worthy of our veneration. For such an inborn faculty of divining accompanies acuteness of sense, or sympathy, or some other commotion of the natural faculties, and has nothing about it worshipful and supernatural. Nor if anyone by human reasoning or systematic observation determines from symptoms those things of which the signs are indicative, as physicians from the systole of the pulse prognosticate a coming fever, he by no means appears to me to possess anything honorable and good, for he likewise sets himself to it humanly, and infers logically by a reasoning faculty in relation to the things which confessedly occur in the order of nature, and he makes this diagnosis not very far away from the corporeal order of things. Accordingly, if there is in us any natural perception of the future, the faculty is clearly shown in activity as in everything else. But in having this, nothing that is very happy is possessed. For what can there be of the qualities implanted in us by nature in the realm of generated existence that is genuine, perfect, and everlasting benefit? The divine endowment of divination alone, therefore, being conjoined with the gods, imparts to us the divine life, and likewise making us participants of the divine foreknowledge and the divine thoughts. This renders us truly divine. It causes us to be genuinely the possessors of goodness, because the most blessed thought of the gods abounds with every good. Hence, they who possess the endowment of divining do not, as you surmise, foresee and are not really successful, for all divine knowledge is seemingly good. Nor do they foresee future events and not know how to make use of the foresight properly for themselves. On the contrary, with the foreknowledge, they receive beauty itself, and order that are at once true and becoming, and there is with it that which is profitable. For the gods give them also the power of protecting themselves against direful calamities from the realm of nature. And when it is necessary to exercise courage, and the uncertainty of the future contributes to this, they keep the things hidden that are to be, in order to make the soul better. Yet, when uncertainty does not bring any help for this purpose, and the foreknowledge is advantageous to souls, for the sake of saving them and leading them upward, then the gods implant in their inmost being the foreknowledge inherent in the inspired communications. But why am I prolonging these discourses? I have abundantly shown before, by the many explanations which I have made in them, the superiority of the inspiration over human divination. Better, therefore, is what you ask from us, to make plain to you the path to success, and in what the essence of it consists. For from this the truth is then to be found, and all the difficulties may thus be at once easily resolved. I say, therefore, that the divine person gifted with intuition, having, in a former condition of being, been participant of the oneness, by the spectacle of the gods, comes at a later period to another soul, or psychic condition, which is adjusted to the human ideal of figure, and through this becomes involved in the bond of necessity or fate. Now then, it is necessary to consider how he may be unloosed and set free from his bonds. There is no other way except the knowing of the gods. For the ideal or success is the apperceiving of the good, just as the ideal of badness happens to be forgetting of what is good and deceit in relation to what is bad. The former, therefore, joins with the divine nature, but the latter, an inferior destiny, is inseparable from the mortal. The former seeks the intellectible essences by the sacred paths, but the latter, having swerved from the first principles, yields itself to the measuring out of the ideals of the corporeal environment. The former is the knowing of the Father, but the latter is the going aside from him and a forgetting of God the Father, first in essence and sufficient for himself. The former preserves the genuine life and brings it back to its Father, but the latter brings the man ruling in the realm of generated existence down to the world which is never permanent, but always changing. Let then this superior path to true success, which is the spiritual completing of the union of souls to the divine nature, be cognized by thee. But the sacerdotal and theurgical gift of true success is called the door to the Creator of the universe, or supreme goodness. In the first place, it possesses the power of chastity of the soul, which is far more perfect than chastity of the body. Afterward, the preparing of the understanding for the participation and vision of the good, and its release from everything of a contrary character. And after these, oneness with the gods, the givers of all things good. After the Theurgic discipline has conjoined the soul individually with the several departments of the universe, and with all the divine powers that pervade it, then it leads the soul to the Creator of the world, places it in his charge, and frees it of everything pertaining to the realm of matter, uniting it with the sole, eternal reason, the Logos. What I am saying is this, that it unites the soul individually to the One, Father of himself, self-moving. He who sustains the universe, spiritual, who arranges all things in order, who leads it to the supreme truth, to the absolute, the efficient, and other creative powers of God, thus establishing the theurgic soul in the energies, the conceptions and creative qualities of those powers. Then, it inserts the soul in the entire demiurgic God. This, with the Egyptian sages, is the end of the return, as taught in the sacred records. The good itself they consider on the one side as absolute divinity, the God subsisting before thought, but on the other as human, who is a unity with him. Eudaemonia has explained this from the Hermetic scrolls. This, therefore, is not passed over by the Egyptian priests, as thou dost suggest, but is handed down by them in a style worthy of the divine being. Nor do the Theurgists call upon the divine mind in relation to trivial matters, but rather it is in regard to matters appertaining to the purifying of the soul, its release and salvation. Nor do they employ themselves diligently with things that are difficult, but of no use to human beings, but on the contrary, such as are the most profitable of all to the soul. Nor are they imposed upon by a vagabond demon, who have in every instance not only contended successfully with the deceitful daimonian nature, but have exalted themselves to the realm of mind and divinity. These many things we have answered thee as best we are able in relation to the doubts and difficulties which thou hast discovered in relation to the divine art of divination and theurgy. It now remains with the end of these discourses that I pray the gods to bestow upon me and thee the unchanging safeguard of true conceptions, and likewise to implant in us forever the everlasting truth, and to provide for us a participation of more perfect conceptions in relation to the divine beings. For in these the most blessed consummation of all things good is set before us, and the confirmation of the hearty friendship which now exists between us. The End.